Now tonight, our panel is on preparing for the Toastmasters Speech Contest. As we all understand that the Toastmasters Speech Contest for District 117 is between now and the end of March, or correction, February, and ours is February 4th for the Jacksonville Toastmasters Club. Tonight I've invited 4 panelists to have a conversation with about their subject matter expertise. Our first panelist this evening is DTM Ron Bower. Ron has participated in panel discussions, or correction, in speech contests over his 30+ years of experience in Toastmasters. He served as a contest chair, as a contest judge, and I'm certain, I didn't clarify this with Ron, but I'm certain at one point he's participated as a contest participant as well. Our second panelist this evening is DTM Virginia Sharp March, who has been a contest judge. Virginia, can you clarify? Have you been a participant also? Have you participated in the speech, in the contest?
I have not participated as a contestant, but beyond the judge, I've also been contest chair and a few of the other roles too. Excellent,
thank you. And as well as DTM Sharp is also our Vice President of Education for Jacksonville Toastmasters. Our club president, Toastmaster Anthony Sloane, has participated in Anthony, was it the International Speech Contest and Table Topics, or was it just one or the other?
No, the International Speech Contest. And then I was a judge and a few other things, yes.
Okay, so a deep well of experience with being a contest participant. Anthony is also our club president, and Toastmaster Dennis Szymanski participated last year in the International Speech Contest and Table Topics Contest. Am I correct in that?
Yes, you are.
And you placed in locally. Did you place in area before district, or did you just go straight to district?
I placed first in the area for the international, second for the table topics, and I went to the district level and placed 4th, I believe, in the international speech contest.
Excellent. So for all of our participants in our panel, all have a deep background in contest participation and contest judging and contest organization. In all my years in Toastmasters, have never once participated in the contest. I do anticipate to this year. So as we move on, as we get ready to kick off our panel, I'm going to open the discussion first with DTM Bauer. Can you briefly explain the contest speech process, or the speech contest process?
Okay, are you talking about from the contestant point of view, or from the contest point of view?
Overall, what if somebody were to decide that they wanted to participate in the contest? What is the entire process like? I understand from seeing last year that we had a club contest and our participants moved on to the area.
Okay. Yes. Well, the contest, depending upon which contest you're talking about, let's just say the International Speech Contest, which is the one that's the longest. You start out having a club contest, and you are selected by your club to represent that club in the area contest. And when you go up there, you will compete against either one or two contestants from each area. From there, you go on to the district contest, and from the district, you'll go to the regional contest, and the final step is the International Speech Contest, which would be people from all over the world, with the caveat that there are 2 different speech contests. One is in English and one is in a native language. So consequently, you have to prepare for both of them. But I do know my favorite story is a winner of the International Speech Contest. He had a speech called Fat Daddy, which is what his dad was called, but he actually participated by giving that speech to 60 different clubs in preparation for being in the international speech contest. So you don't just limit yourself to the one contest and then another contest and another contest. You go on in between the contest and you practice and you get feedback from other club venues, and you improve your contestability by simply by practice.
Excellent. Thank you. That's a fantastic answer. And I appreciate that perspective from a past contest chair and a past contest judge. I'm going to move it over to the participant side. And Toastmaster Anthony, when you were a participant as a speech participant, what inspired you to participate in the International Speech Contest or Table Topics Contest?
Well, the International Speech Contest would inspire me because that's one of the reasons why I came to Toastmasters, because I enjoy speaking. So I was already kind of inspired to speak, but and just the aura that we had in our club, everybody was, motivated. Everybody, we cared about everybody. We motivated everybody. So that alone right there just influenced me and motivated me to want to be in a speech contest.
Outstanding. That's great. I appreciate that motivation, because as I look to prepare to participate in this year's contest, I'm actually trying to find that motivation myself. Is why do I want to participate other than gaining experience in public speaking?
Awesome. I asked myself the same thing, and I'm going to participate also.
So, Virginia, can you discuss the importance of participating in the Toastmasters Speech Contest to the membership at large?
Yes, as a few of our members have already said, a lot of us join Toastmasters for various reasons, whether it be for our job to hone our public speaking skills, to tell our story, or to part of our own business. Once again, telling our story. So by doing the contest, it is going to take everyone outside their comfort zone, because it's a little bit different than just giving a speech within the club. You are now taking all these skills that you've been honing during our meetings, and you are putting them on display for others to critique, to decide, are you one of the best? It's just a good opportunity, once again, stepping outside your comfort zone, doing something that's a little bit uncomfortable, pushing the limit, and being able to tell your story at another venue, at another level. So, especially for those who have a story to tell and they want to share it, this is a great opportunity to get out there and see what it's like.
Thank you. Excellent. Toastmaster Dennis, understanding that you participated last year, it was your first time out of the blocks, if you will. How did you prepare for your first contest last year? And if you were to do it again, and I think you are doing it again this year, how are you going to do things differently?
So last and my first conference contest, as you said, I actually took my icebreaker speech from Toastmasters and morphed it based upon the feedback, exactly as DTM Ron Bower was saying, but from this club, iterating it several times. Different members were present. I chose different evaluators and was actually able to build off of that speech. This year, to try something new, step outside my comfort zone, as DTM Virginia said, I actually just came up with the idea last week for my speech. And I'm not going to prepare as much. It's going to be a surprise. And I think I'm going to utilize Ron's wisdom here and potentially go to other clubs. I'm traveling a little bit, so that seems like a very good idea to, again, step out of my comfort zone.
Outstanding. So I as well, I haven't decided on a topic for this year's contest yet, but that's one of my to-do lists that I'm among many that I've got to do this year. Virginia, how do you balance encouraging new Toastmasters to participate in the contest while maintaining a high standard of competition?
That would be encouraging people along the line. Deciding to do the contest just isn't something that, oh, you've been told your contest is coming up in a month. It's usually something you've had in the background. So we like to mention it along the way. This year, we've not done another type of club contest. Some years we have done that in the fall, which is a little bit different than what these contests are like. We're trying just to encourage them to tell their story. Once again, it's all about telling your story, motivating others, whatever it is. But encouraging them, if they're already feeling safe in our environment to get up and do a speech and being evaluated, then I believe they will also feel safety in doing it at a different level. Preparing them for this is very important, because a speech contest is different than just coming to the club and doing a speech at one of our regular meetings. You don't get the feedback that we do at regular meetings. You don't know how long your time was, because that's not given. It's a little bit more formal, preparing them so that they know what's going to go on, so there's no surprises. So being able to prepare them, encourage them. I know that we'll have great competitors, and if they don't want to compete, encouraging them to take a role, because that's the best way to learn about contests. There are ballot counters, timers, roles that you can slide into and observe the whole contest process. So whether it be coming in as a contestant or coming in as a role, it helps you become more accustomed and comfortable about doing the contest.
Thank you. Sorry for my distraction. I was actually scrolling through the contest rule book, because there was a question that I had prepared about contest originality. And I was looking for clarification on what it meant by contest originality requirements. So, Anthony, how do you ensure that your speech meets the originality requirements for the Toastmasters Speech Contest?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's kind of laid out as far as it, what's expected, what's not allowed. And then once again, there's so much experience in Toastmasters. So when you do give your speech, someone can let you know. That's why it's so good to give your speech at your club with all the experience there. We got DT, now we got 3 DTMs. We got people who's been around for a while, Dr. Crypto. So everybody kind of looks out for one another. So trust me, if your speech, if your thing is not the way it's supposed to be, you will know about it. You will know about it sooner or later, because the more people, the more times you give that speech to.
Outstanding. DTM Ron, what do you recommend that contestants focus on during the contest briefing?
That's a good question, because I was usually one of the judges. I was giving the briefing, but I would say that what you need to concentrate on is number one, making sure that you have practiced long enough and well enough, and then apply those instructions to your speech. If your speech is not in accordance with the instructions, you may have to change on the run just a little bit, just to make it competitive. And it's really just a matter of paying attention when they're giving the briefing and saying to yourself, well, how does my speech meet that criteria? And you do that for each of the instructions, like length, like speech movement, use of visual aids, things of that nature. And don't try to change your speech, but keep it within those same limits. Just make a small modification based on the instructions you get.
Thank you. And that's great. Not having been through the briefing process previously, it's going to be all new ground for me. And I've read through the 35-page contest rule book, and it's a very dense read, and it reads like a law contract. So with that, Virginia, what are the required roles that we need to pull off our club contest, as well as any further contests that we have?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question, because we have opportunities for club members to fill these roles. There is the contest chair. That person coordinates who's going to fill all those roles, and they make sure they set up place in the venue and get all that set. We have a chief judge. The chief judge is to coordinate 3 judges and a tie-breaking judge. Within a smaller venue, with like our club contest, the contest chair and the chief judge can be the same person. So if you are interested in being a judge or tie-breaking judge, let me know. Then there is the contest master. The contest master is essentially the Toastmaster of the evening, and there is a script to follow. It is very, well laid out. So if you are confident in being the Toastmaster of the evening, you could also be the contest master. We need a sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms makes sure that no one is coming or going while someone is doing their speech. During a table topics, they make sure that the contestants are sequestered so they don't hear the table topics question until it is their turn. We need ballot counters. The ballot counters will collect the forms for the judges and tally those. And timers. We need 2 timers, because sometimes someone's device, something happens to it. So that's why you need a second timer. And with the way our club is, we'll need a Zoom master, though I believe our contestants will be in person, but there's been some times when we've had hybrid ones. So those are the different roles. And once again, if you don't want to be a contestant, there's great opportunities to support the club contest in one of those positions, and let me know what position you want to fill.
And I will be putting that in the club newsletter, the solicitation for contest participants and contest support roles as well. We do have time for a couple more questions, and I'm going to bounce it over to Dennis. Dennis, how do you practice for the unpredictable nature of the table topics contest?
That's a great question, because I wonder that myself, and I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to really think about it. So thank you for the question, first off. But I think that the best way that I prepare is to completely clear my mind. I think about nothing, absolutely nothing. And to give an anecdote from last year's contest about how that served me. We were sequestered in the library, and I was just staring off at the stack of books, and the song came to my head. I just started humming the song. And it was, I'm driving my life away. And the table topic question aligned perfectly with that. So of course that was luck. However, I would say the best advice I would have to give anybody, table topics at a contest or not, is to just clear your mind, take in the question. First thing that comes to your mind, as DTM Virginia has said several times, tell your story.
Excellent. That's an outstanding answer. And you do so well when you do table topics anyways. It's like you're a polished pro. And speaking of advice, I'm gonna wrap this up, the prepared questions portion of it, with a final question to Anthony. Is what advice would you give to someone competing in the Toastmasters speech contest for the first time? Me being that person, what advice would you give me?
Well, the advice I will give you is know your speech, be confident in your speech, and be free. No pressure. practice it as many times as you can. Practice it so that you know it just fluently. And just be excited about it. That's it. On the stage, it's your speech.
Outstanding. That's all of my prepared questions for the panel. However, I do have a couple of audience questions. I put out an email earlier this week soliciting response from our general membership, and some folks couldn't be here this evening. So I do have two questions that came in through my Google form. And Virginia, I'm going to direct this first one at you because you touched on it in one of your answers briefly before. What is the key difference between a regular club meeting and the experience you might glean from a Toastmasters competition?
Comparing the club meeting to a Toastmasters contest, it's much more formal. The contest is much more formal. And that is in order to be fair to all contestants and to stay on topic. Whereas in our meetings, sometimes we have that little bit of back and forth. You know, maybe we joke a little bit and we might add to what the person's saying. In a contest, once again, it's very formal. We even have time, you know, we have a minute before each contestant speaks of silence. We have a minute afterwards. So it's just a little bit more formal. But I feel that it's so well organized that our club meetings are very well organized. But this, because we're used to that and accustomed to that, we can do the club contest so well because we are used to following our agenda. We just, what do I want to say? We just put on our best behavior during club contests.
Outstanding. And my final question for the panel is directed to DTM Ron Bower. Ron, what are ways that a contestant could be disqualified from the competition? And how do we verify if we qualify to be a contestant? So it's a two-part question. How do we get disqualified? And then how do we know if we're qualified to actually participate?
Well, the answer to that is a two-part answer. The number one is the fact that your club should make the requirements well known to you, and you should, in fact, comply with those requirements to the point that you may even have an assistant to make sure that while you're practicing that you are doing it the correct way. There are a lot of little traps out there that you can fall into. And one of them I was thinking of earlier, we had a contest, I believe it was out in Charlotte one time, and I was the chief judge, but we had a contestant up there that was giving a fairly decent speech. I would say very, very good speech. But I noticed something as the chief judge that nobody else had noticed. And that was that he had 2 or 3 members of his club sitting in the front seats of the auditorium. And they were either mouthing quietly or giving hand signals to the contestant about certain things. And when that occurred, I was required then, as the chief judge, to disqualify that individual. You want to make sure that it's you giving the speech and that the people you know, the people from your club, are dispersed throughout the area. So you don't have one place that you can look to just to get some unauthorized assistance, especially if you get stuck with something. So that's a very important thing. And it was a real tragedy when we had to announce that somebody had been disqualified. We didn't say why, but later on we were able to discuss it with him. And he went on, continued to give speeches, but I don't know where he went from there, because we're talking about clubs from all over North Carolina. I don't even remember where he came from. So, but that's the big thing, is to make sure that you have your stuff together and that you don't have any unauthorized assistance or cues or things in the audience that would help you along in case you needed some extra help. That's a no-no.
So just to paraphrase what you're saying is know the rules, read the rule book, the 35-page
Oh,
rule
yeah.
book, and be familiar with it. And in there it will show qualification and disqualification criteria. I'd like to thank everybody for participating.
Hey, DTM Shelly Bauer had her hand up.
As being
Yes.
as having been to contests, I mean the formal contest, remember you dress accordingly. You don't want to go in jeans. It's a formal contest. You want to dress the best that you can. And as far as eating, do not eat a heavy meal before you give a speech. Not only that, do not drink coffee before you give a speech because coffee has a tendency to dry your mouth out. And sometimes I've not seen anybody take time out to have a sip of water when they're giving their 5 to 7 minute speech at a formal contest. They will disqualify you if you are under time or overtime, but they will let you know about that as well. But it is a lot of fun to be a part of a speech contest, whether you're given the speech or whether you are a judge, a timer, chief judge. It's enhances your Toastmasters skills.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic input from DTM Shelly Bauer as well. And I'd like to thank everybody for participating in tonight's panel discussion. I did actually gain a lot of information from something that I was hoping to get out of this. Thank you, DTM Ron. Thank you, DTM Virginia. Thank you, Toastmasters Anthony and Dennis. Your participation was excellent and outstanding. And I will turn it back over to the Toastmaster of the Year.